I'm going to start by saying everyone who joins, not only subscribe to her account today, free or not. If you can pay, that's okay. I don't know if you have it wired for pay, but if you do, please, let's work on that part so that people can support you. In your work. But also, I'm saying to all the people who are watching, who are joining us right now, I say Margaret, Rebecca, and some of our friends who were here a few minutes ago. Your account is brand new today, and I would like to see it grow. And also, one more thing in your settings later, change it to under news. And I'd like to see it start saying, number 5 in news growing or 50 or something. They have a top 100 of growing. And it's not about how many numbers you have, it's about the progress of saying, like today it says I'm at 85 and I've been as high
Oh,
as
I
20.
lost
20
you.
yeah. Is it working?
Yeah, now it's
Okay.
working.
Okay. So what I was saying is on Substack, there's when we set your settings to news as well, because of quality news. Hold on. Raid in Odessa, my phone tells me. If we set it to news, what I'm seeing is that there's a kind of a grid that's on there, like rising in news. And it's not about how many numbers, like if you're 24,000 or 100,000. It's
I
like,
lost you once again. Sorry, I lost you
yeah.
once again.
Can
Yeah,
you hear me now? Okay. So if we set
Mhm.
your account to news, it'll show us how many, like, as these people follow your account, your name can be rising there. And I think our friends are going to be able to do that. So, but we got about 13. I think we can start talking about some things, and this is recorded. So let's back up a little bit to our friends and tell us a little bit about who you are and your background, and we'd like to learn more about your life before we go into kind of the modern era of the war.
Mhm. Sorry, my dog is a little bit loud. Is it okay? Because yeah,
Oh, все добре.
she's so young. Yeah,
Oh,
I just took her from Konstantinivka, if you know, in Donbas region. Yes, her mother died. Yes, and she has a few children. And we took them to rise there.
it's a
Oh,
blessing to
yes.
it's a blessing though. Yeah.
Yes, but she's a little bit loud. So sorry, my
It's
friends.
okay.
So yeah, my name is Leniie. I'm originally Crimean Tatar. It's small group. It's not so big group who
Hmm.
originally live in Crimea.
Hmm.
Um, but we have a lot of. Sorry, I need to do
It's okay.
something with
Okay, well we have time. We
this
have
girl.
patience.
Yeah. I grew up in Ukraine, in Crimea, in Yevpatoria.
Hmm.
Uh, but we have a really complicated situation. My family in Crimea, because my grandmother and like every Crimean Tatar was forcibly deported from Crimea in 1944. A lot of our people died at that time at the road. Actually, not died,
Yeah,
killed.
right. Good
And for
important
us,
distinction. A very important distinction.
yes.
Yeah.
And then many years we can't return to our homeland, motherland, and we started to return at the end of 18th.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, yes, and I was born. I was one of the generation who born in our motherland. Finally, we raised our nationality, starting raised in our homeland.
Hmm.
And I remember that my grandmother every time talking to me about history of our family told me that you need to remember who you are.
Right.
You need to feel the pain which through we went, our family, our nation. You need to don't forget it.
Right.
It's not like we need to do something, uh, like bad things, but
Hmm.
mm, We understand who is Russians
Right.
at the beginning.
Right.
And I remember at 2014, I was 15, 16 years old,
Mm-hmm.
because actually my birthday in 14th of March.
Mm.
And yes, Crimea was occupied. Um,
Yeah.
so-called, voting was the 16th of March.
The fake referendum, the Russian
Referendum.
referendum. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember everything was going on at that time, and the very important topic that I must take passport, Ukrainian passport,
Mm-hmm.
because we take it at the 16 years old. Sorry for my English language.
No,
uh,
say that.
it's I hope it's okay, but sometimes can be mistakes. Yes, because it's not even my.
Зрозуміло, коли я говорю українську мову, це мої думки, англійську мову і, українську мову, and then I stop. So it's like,
It sounds good. Yeah, it's for me. It's
зрозуміло.
so good. Yes, actually. So, 2014, fake Russia starting the annexion of Crimea.
Right.
I'm 16 years old. I need to do something. And the pressure. So crazy people, collaborators, who trying to make the peninsula is pro-Russian.
Mm-hmm.
And you understand, all my friends was or Ukrainians or Crimean Tatars.
Right.
One part of my friends, there was military
Right.
who work in Crimea. Uh, right after referendum, took their clothes and ran away from Crimea, just because it was not it was complicated to live continue live in Crimea.
Right.
Second part, Crimean Tatars. They're starting to do something. To went to meetings, to speak about some actions, do some actions about Crimea is Ukraine. And at that time, a lot of activist was kidnapped, and then he was found died without no eyes, with the перев'язані hands.
Yeah.
Uh, Forget the word. So yes, the situation in Crimea is so horrible that and when I was young, I was so, rough girl. I said that it must be so, Crimea is Ukraine. And we thought with my closest ones, and we think I need to go to. This is like, yeah, that.
The baby pups.
Yeah, she's so young and, young, crazy
Yeah.
doggies. Yes, have so many energy. And it's funny. So I moved to Kyiv. I lived there till 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And my closest ones still lived in Crimea, just because, they, my Crimean Tatars is so complicated return to Crimea. And
Mm-hmm.
if everybody moved away from Crimea, so it will be that Putin want,
Right.
because everyone knows that Putin don't want the people who lived in Crimea. He want the territory. He want make marine float.
Yeah.
Yes, and now we can see that a lot of fire to Ukraine is coming from Crimea.
Mhm.
It's about place, not about people.
Right.
So my closest ones say that we continue live in Crimea because we don't give them our home. At the end, 2022, my father was so horribly ill, and I spoke with my mother, and I think what I can do. He must be operated,
Right.
and I thought, I understand where I need to go. I understand because it's Russia. Even I think that we all think that Crimea is Ukraine, but the system now Russian in Crimea, and yes, it's complicated. But how I need to watch in my eyes if I don't go, and if something go really badly, how I can say myself, how I can forgive myself if I
Mm.
can't go.
Right. Right.
So I choose to go.
Mm.
Uh, you can ask, you, are you prepared to go? Yes, I cleaned my phone. I just completely take with me only good things.
Mhm.
I don't know how to say it because and the reasons why I go to Crimea is only went to Crimea is only because I must visit my father.
Mhm.
So I went through few countries and
I skiki rokim vin mai. How many?
uh, yeah, almost 65, yes.
65. Uh-huh. Uh,
Yes, I went through few countries, and I went through border control between Georgia and Russia,
Okay. Okay.
nearby North Ossetia.
Yeah.
It's Russian region. So I started. I showed my passport. Everything goes okay. They saw my passport and said, "Where are you going?" I said to my father, "Okay, you born in Crimea, your parents in Crimea, so why you don't have Russian passport?" And what you can say what you can say. What's your answer for this question?
Yeah. I mean, the place has been Ukraine
Yes, just because
since
I said
1991. It's been Ukraine even by vote.
yes, but I said I don't want to take Russian passport, and that's it. It's for me, it's normal answer. And okay, they said if you don't want, uh, we need that you speak with someone. After half of hour, four men in civilian clothes
Uh,
took me uh, to another place. I understand that this is filtration, and I said that I must call to attorney. I don't know where we going because they said we are going to another place at their car.
mhm.
No attorney, no calls, nothing. They said few, maybe half of hour, and you will return back at the border control.
Mhm.
And you can do nothing just because you don't have nothing. Your Ukrainian phone doesn't work in Russia. It's okay because it's security reasons
Sure.
for Ukrainians and for Ukraine because Russian can use it. But anyway, when you are in Russia, you can't use nothing. You can't even call nobody.
Yeah.
So, um, after that, uh, almost 7 hours of asking me the questions, a lot of pressures, um, a lot of scaring me, and oh my god, I'm so I must be happy that nothing that they scare me is not happened, because scaring was so horrible. I remember, yes, at what time, and they said, they took the gun and put nearby my head and said, "Yeah, we will kill you there, and nobody don't know where you." And yes, 8 hour, 7 hours, yes. And actually stupid questions like, where are you living, why are you going in Crimea, nobody understand why I'm there, and they're just trying to return their questions once again and once again, just to watch my reaction.
Right.
After all this time, they said I can move to Crimea, but it was middle of the night, 2 a.m.
Hmm. Wow. Yeah.
And they took the car for me to move me to the hotel, and at the morning I must go to the bus to Crimea. But when I sit in this car, they stopped me, said that I something go wrong, and that's why they moved me to the court. Um, Something going wrong and with my documents.
Mm.
Yeah, like I have no special paper. Um, at the court, they say that they moved me to the prison for inozemtiv.
Hmm.
Could you please help me with this word?
It's where
Uh-huh.
the prison location was.
Yes, yes.
It's a
Um. So anyway,
yeah,
it's
it's
the
one of
prison
the camps. Yeah,
for, yes, for the people who not live in Russia.
yeah.
Uh,
So it's a detention camp.
yes, yes. Something like this.
Yeah.
And only one way to move from this way. It's like two countries. Where are you from? And Russia, with diplomatic ways.
Mhm.
She's so funny.
Yeah, yeah, Yagditi.
Yes, she's like small child. What I can give you?
And I think our friends, every one of our friends watching, you can all tell us, do you like the dog puppy, enjoying puppy energy? Because it's actually kind of therapeutic sometimes
Yes.
with all the pain and suffering that goes on every day. Yeah.
Sorry.
Arcadian, our Greek watcher, Arcadian is Greek. He's a very loyal, supportive Ukrainian, and his wife is from Kubiri. So, very good sport. He says, we want to see the dog.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need to do something with. She's
Yes.
so funny, and she moving
Yeah.
here. Yeah, so fast. Uh oh, you want to see the dog?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that this is a good idea. One moment.
Sure, sure. We have time. We're with friends. That's the beauty of our friends here. Hello, everybody who's watching, by the way. Don't forget to follow her wonderful brand new account on this platform,
Yeah,
and
she's
let's
she's a
show our
little bit
support.
crazy, but
Let's see.
yeah, she's so funny.
Ah, puppy energy. There you go. Look
Say
at the
hi.
baby.
Say hi. Look, 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 look. Oh.
Ah, see who loves. There you go.
About. Yeah. Where we can move my first prison. I moved. I've been there almost 3 months.
Mm.
Um, After that, at that time, my lawyer said that um, we can do something in uh, uh, we can do something, and
This lawyer, this is a Russian appointed lawyer?
yes,
Okay,
yes,
just for our
it's
viewers, yeah.
a Russian appointed lawyer, but my closest ones find them, and it's not the way when Russian court give you like you must have the lawyer. You must do something to take this lawyer.
Yeah.
So after 3 months, she find a way to
Mhm.
take me away from this prison.
Mhm.
At the middle of the night, maybe it's 10 or 11 p.m., they said, you need to go, and you need to go fastly from this place.
Mm.
Uh, when I just go away through the door of this prison,
Mhm.
the car fastly stopped nearby this door, and
Mhm.
four men in balaclava. You know, it's like
Sure, sure.
hat. Yeah, without only with eyes.
Right, right.
Everything in your head is closed. They took me with my hats, put the bag in my hat, and put me at the car, moved in other place, and made some things that put me in other place. And after that,
Mhm.
they put me in another prison.
Right.
5 months. They moved me from one prison to another prison to another prison in North Ossetia.
And these were all civilians in these locations? All civilians? Neviskovich?
Yes, at that time only civilians, no military,
Yeah, yeah,
no militaries, prisoners of war.
yeah.
It was really crazy moment actually, just because imagine you don't understand why you're there. If you're trying to ask something, they don't answering to nothing. They every time scaring you,
Right.
and they moved you with your every time you sit alone at the cell. It's actually a cell for one uh, person,
Mhm.
and you have no answer why you're there, what will be tomorrow, and where it will be finished, when it will be finished, and you a little bit trying, a little bit going crazy
Right.
because no, absolutely no answer,
Right.
and every court session going so crazy, like uh, you're coming. Before you, man and civilian, come to the court secretary, speak with them, head of court, um, judge, right?
Right, right.
Uh, After speak with him or her 1 hour, and after that, return court session started, and they said some uh I don't know what they talking about, but
Mhm.
after that speaks, your court session is moving more, maybe 5 or 7 minutes, not more,
Mhm.
every
Mhm.
time. Yeah. So after 5 months, some guy from some man from FSBAM federal security forces came to my prison and said that I need to read some paper to the camera, that I don't know what's there, but like crazy things.
Right.
I said, I need my lawyer because I don't want to. I don't know what I'm reading.
Mhm. By the
Uh,
way, to everyone, that's always the correct answer. I'll take my lawyer, please. It is, right?
yeah, yes,
Get some help and make sure that. Let's see. Arcadian had a question. Did Russians after 2014 prohibit Tatars and Greeks to have their customs, celebrations, speaking, and learning, Urum and Rumeka, etc.?
yes, yes, it's true. Actually, not prohibit, but it's they like they make the they have uh good Crimean Tatars who have who negotiate with Russians, and they can do like celebrations or
Mm,
etc. etc. If you're bad one, uh, yes, you in
also Bill.
bad condition.
And real quick, one
Uh,
thing for our audience is we're gonna talk after we hear your story. We're gonna talk a little bit about both the history and this larger picture of Crimean Tatar people. So I'm keeping track of the good questions that come up. So we're definitely going to discuss a little bit of the history and context of what's happened before. So come to
yes,
that. Yeah, of course.
absolutely. Mm.
And it's okay to put it in the to our friends watching. If you want to put that in space, we'll watch it. But just so you know, we will cover those. Because we're going to talk about Crimea a lot on Substack. That's my mission.
Yeah,
Because
that's
we talk about
great.
Ukraine, but and everyone cares about Crimea, but we need to hear more because it gets lost in the bigger part of all the weapons and the negotiation and all that stuff. So best
Very
way to do it is to
important.
talk about Crimea and
mm,
Crimeans. Yeah.
Yes, very important topic to speak about Crimea, just because when some presidents or some other people start speaking about uh, for what you need the Crimea, just give the place to Russians and everything will be okay. Uh, but it's not true. We have a lot of reasons why we can give our territory Russians, and one the important point that we have our people who still live in the occupied territories, and after so many years. More than 12 years, they're still believe in Ukraine and they're still waiting
Right.
that one day Ukraine will return. Will return, yes. And how we can do like this? We have so many activists who died, who was killed in Crimea, and we have so many activists who now in Russian prisons just because they believe in all of this. And we have so many people who lived in everyday scare that one day Russian security forces will come and mm, abduct them and put in Russian prison.
Right.
And yes, and if we speak about selling the territories, we just uh,
Yeah.
we can kill these people because
Yeah, I
they.
talk about Steve Witkoff's ignorance and the people around him saying it's not land, it's humans. The land is interactive, Timla, but it's about the people. Like my best friend's family is in Skadovsk, So there's not a day goes by that we don't think about what's happening. Everything like the young people being uh, forced into the Russian army and all of these stories that are happening there. I know the names of people who we wait for and who wait for us,
Mm-hmm.
and this just makes our дуже багато stress, дуже багато depression. We have a lot of stress
Yes.
and depression about this rhetoric of like what brings peace. Like nothing brings peace like killing 4 million people. That doesn't bring peace. That's a sabotage of human beings. So yeah,
Absolutely. Yes,
yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about
actually,
what happened. Yeah, go ahead. Of course, anything
yes.
you want.
There. You're speaking about Greeks. Um, it's actually not only Crimea. More Greeks lived in Mariupol, near Mariupol, and the situation with them is absolutely in bad condition. I know the activist from. Actually, I can share with you contact
Sure,
with activist
absolutely.
from Mariupol. She's Greek, um, under Azovian Greek.
Yeah,
Is it correctly? Yeah, and, you can speak with her. Yes, she's
sure.
so interesting and she's so kind person. Yeah, and she can answer at the all this question.
Yeah. Well, we definitely also I know with our viewers, one of the reasons why I moved from Twitter to Substack was I found that we had a more genuine relationship between the people who wanted to know. And I know we have supporters of for Ukraine and on Twitter, NAFO in the crowd, and they're there. But hopefully they can come here where they can actually kind of sit in the conversation space and ask good questions, and then go away with a video to say, "Hey, this is what we learned today." And this is one of the most important part. And I'll say at the beginning for some of our friends who just joined us, no, first off, don't forget to support your account. But when I was in Bucha 4 years ago, days after the liberation from the Russians, I had my best friend who, like I said, family's in occupation, and he says, "You know who this man is across the street?" And I said, "No." And I had just taken a photo. He goes, "That's Mustafa Dzhemilev." Now I knew the name Dzhemilev, but I didn't know what he looked like necessarily, and I think it's auspicious in a way, like cosmically divine that we were to be on the same street in such a terrible time, but in the same physical space that I was literally 20 feet away from one of the most important people in our lifetime. And because it kept it in my heart forever. So later when I meet like Tamila Tasheva and Rafat Jabarov, these weren't like, oh, someone over there in Crimea. No, no, this was like we're closer, we're something was more important to do. And this is why I especially want to keep with our friends here who show up. I want to keep them informed, and like you said, another activist that can tell us this. It's very, very important work that we do, and also important work that you're doing. So that's why I'm glad you're here to share with our friends what's going on. Yeah,
Yeah, Mustafa Dzhemilev, it's big, our hero
yeah,
of our nation,
yeah,
because she made so many things to return Crimean Tatars to our homeland, our motherland in
right.
Crimea, in Soviet times.
Very much so.
Uh, about Turkey, actually, it's a complicated question, but yes, about Turkey helps with negotiations, and she, at the beginning of negotiation about our prisoners of war and civilian prisoners, she helped to return and to exchange our people.
Yeah,
Uh, about supporting of Crimean Tatars, it's a complicated question because n- no, I can't say that the support is so special. Yes, their support, but anyway, it's. Mm, not
By
so
the way,
big.
to our audience, I just happen to have I keep it. This is the photo of Mustafa Dzhemilev, and I can never remember the journalist's name. I know her name. I have it written down, but we don't dialogue enough. I have her on Twitter. And when I posted that photo one time, my Crimean friends on Twitter were, "Oh, she's also a great journalist." And so one
Oh,
day, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think it's great when our friends know plenty. But yeah, that photo will be, if I ever do a photo book, that photo is in the top three, top one. I don't know. It's the most important photo because you see, and I'll show our friends this again. This is in Bucha. This is on Vokzalna Street, and the one of the most profound human rights activists and victim of political prisoner. But he's there saying, "We told you it's coming. We told you what Russians would do." That's essential. And we did an interview with him there. Andrei did the interview, and we'll build
mhm.
another one. I told Aziza, who will be with us on Friday night, and she may join us here soon. She's a Crimean activist and artist, and I told her the same thing. It's like, yeah, well, let's go do interviews. Let's build that voice up to the English audience, so people don't just hear Crimea as the place where like Steve Witkoff and Trump imagine a resort, and Trump,
Aziza
Trump,
Eskender.
Trump. Yeah, 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 yeah. She's gonna be
Oh,
here
I
Friday night.
love her.
She's great. So she may
Yes.
show up. I sent her a link to come here tonight. She also just started Substack to be here with us soon. So
Mhm.
that's just we're gonna have our own like club,
Yeah, great.
the Crimean club here, where everyone comes to bond and learn.
Yeah, it's a new platform for me, but I must show how it works. Yes, because I
Yeah.
always have no time because a lot of things that you need to do, and always you're lost in this.
Дуже багато роботи.
Yes, absolutely.
Always lots to do. So if you don't mind, I want to learn a little bit more about what happened during captivity because I want to get to the part where you were released. I can't wait for you to be released, even in the story.
Yes, I return to
But
my story.
it just anything you want to share because I think that you know best what we need to learn from.
Yes, so we stopped in the North Ossetia. Uh, at one day, the FSB agent came to me and said that I said I don't want to do this. So after that, he said that, okay, he will go to Moscow.
Hmm.
It was so scared and mm, you don't understand why you're going, where are you going? And yes,
Mm.
they moved me there, spoke with me, and start scaring again. And you're trying to keep yourself in your hands, but anyway, it's a little bit crazy. And uh, at the end of the day, they said that, you're a spy. They showed me the documents. Yes, and it's yeah, my reaction was the same. I start laughing because it's so crazy, just because you're trying to go to your father to be with him after the operation. It's a really bad condition, and after the 6 months of imprisonment, they said that you're a spy, but it's uh, no answering why they thinking so. Uh, just your spy and that's it. But they made the video. At that time, I saw that after the plane where the FSB agent moved me from the plane to the car, the man with full camera made the video, and after my returning, I understand that they made a huge video to one of the propagandistic channel.
Right.
Let that they find oh my god, so horrible Ukrainian spy in Crimea or in North Ossetia. Now it's so funny when I'm free, I'm in safe place. But at that time, it was so crazy. So I spent almost 1.5 year in Moscow
Wow.
prison. It called Lefortovo. It's special
Right.
prison for political prisoners, for political
Mm.
activists, for their lawyers, for their mm, politicians, and etc. etc. And there I saw few prisoners of war and few women from occupied territory.
Right.
If you don't mind, I want to share the stories
Of
of this.
course, Zvичайно.
One of them, she's Oksana from Kherson region.
Mhm.
She's so she's a nanny. She work in the kindergarten. She's so funny and she's so warm, like person. And
Mhm.
what's happened? Russians abducted her right in her house. They said that she made some, I don't know, some photo or video,
Mhm.
and they moved her to the basement. You know what the basement means? It's the
Yeah.
place where in the house live special forces or military guys, and at the basement they keeping their prisoners
Mhm.
and their hostages. She said she spent almost half of year in this place. Imagine, no regular food, no water, no you need no medicine, no some special things for women,
Mhm.
no shower, nothing. Half of year. And of course, they tortured her. And one day she said they moved her to the place Gap,
Mhm.
Yama, uh, the place Gap, and they said that we will kill you there, and nobody knows where are you, and we cleaning everything. Um, yeah, and after half of a year, they moved uh, her to Lefortovo, and there we met each other. And one more person, her name is Yanina. She's
Mhm.
so beautiful name, Yanina. She's from Zaporizhia region.
Okay.
After 2022, she started to Zaporizhia region occupied part of this region.
Mhm. Mhm.
She started to move her children to Dnipro region,
Mhm.
and then she returned to take her dogs and some clothes, at the border control. When she is starting to move to Zaporizhia, uh, Russian FSB found her and kidnapped her and moved to basement. She was critically beaten almost all the night, and at the morning, uh, they come to her and they said, "You must read some paper." And said, "Okay, I will do it." She said me when we spoke with each other. She said me, uh, "Imagine, my jaw is broken. I
Mm.
have no few teeth in my mouth, My hand was broken, and I I just want to. They left me alone. I can't say anything, and she said me. Imagine, I even don't remember what I said at the time. And I found the video at the court session with me where
Mm,
I said that I must to go to Donetsk to
mhm.
kill some politician. And she said, "Imagine, I just trying to take my dog and my clothes. That's why I moved to this occupied territory, and that's it. And now I'm in Russian prison." And she was so funny, and she was so energetically, when you are in prison and you are trying to share your story, you never say it. It's like, that's my story is the worst
Right, right.
thing in the whole world. You're trying to share your story with your funny, it's like a little bit joking, but right, the sense of this words that person share with you is so horrible that sometimes you can't understand how one people can move through all these pains.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and I know that Yanina now in prison for 12 years, Oksana for 15. If
Mm,
I know it correctly, that it's a lot of years, and
yeah.
if we do nothing, we must do something to
Right.
return all of them, all of our people. So I think I need to return, yes, to my story.
It should tell me.
Um Yes, I spent 1.5 year in Moscow. Together, I spent almost 2 year in Russian prison. To be correctly, 1 year and 9 months.
Hmm.
And after that, I was exchanged to return to Ukraine as a part of exchange.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh, do you believe me if I said that this is the best day of my life?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And ours too. And ours too. You know that there are people like me who waited every day with some names we knew and some names we didn't know, but we stay stuck to it. We literally just every exchange, every one of them, we're paralyzed until we get some news, and it's a blessing you're home. It's
Thank you.
very very much a blessing. And there's a lot of people who abroad. I think one of the biggest things I think you and others would relate to, and you can tell me for yourself, but to hear there's a community outside that knows my name, or like both of our friends, Dmitro Kliuk. I met his father at a meeting that was held by Media Initiative for Human Rights. And all I knew about Dmitro was there was a photo with his dad. I took a photo and did some video, and I just like I had never met him because he was a journalist here before I came here. And then I would, when we would do Twitter announcements, we would talk about him, but I didn't really know him. I'd never seen him. Well, I just saw him 3 days ago at the captured civilians action in Podil. And I walked up, hey, bro, and I get to hold him now. Like I get to hold him, and I get to see him with his cat riding on a motorcycle and having like reclaiming his life. But then, as you know, time is life. We still have more people. We still have more names to learn. And some of them won't be famous names. I have to go to these civilians in like these actions and say, is this your son? No, it's my brother. Oh, it's your brother. Would you tell me uh, the name? Or sometimes I can see it on the sign. And then I tell him, I said, we will fight for Yaroslav. I promise. Here's my name. Here's my number. And then I had to step to the next person, and then the next person, and the next person. And the biggest one is time is life, like you said. It's we can't wait. What they're doing right now is unbelievably horrible.
But we can't say that it's horrible and we tired. We need to continue all the things. Imagine how tired all these people who now in Russian prison, but the condition
Exactly.
is much, much horrible than ours.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you for sharing your stories. Yes.
Yeah. We have a
Yeah.
list. We have a list of names we're watching for all the time, and the list is bigger than the ones I know. That's just who I've met. So I know the good news is their community. There's at
Mhm.
least a community that's reaching out, and that's why I think like right now we have our friends who are watching here, enjoying some of these people. Like Mila is also Crimean. She's watching here, and I watch following your story
Hi,
since your
Mila.
breast. Yeah, so I'm also from Crimea. And so I know that's why I sent her a link. That's what, when you see me looking down, I'm sending messages to people. Hey, come join us. Yes.
Yeah. So yes. Um,
Yeah.
can I share you the one story? It's short,
As
but
many as you
full.
want. As many as you
Uh,
want.
you told me about that your birthday, the 14th of September.
Right.
Do you know that at that year, 13th of September wasn't, it was Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how in American tradition, but in Ukraine, it's like bad day. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, 13 of,
Friday the 13th, of course.
yeah,
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 we
you
did the
know
same
about it.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
So we are going, imagine, few women, me, the girl from Azov, and one girl from Aidar,
Right.
going,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, going through the border control, border between Belarus and Ukraine, just
Uh-huh.
because our exchange was through the Belarus. Yes,
Right.
going there, and the guy from Azovstal, I think he was mariner,
Right. Right.
and he said, "So, girls, do you still believe that Friday 13 is a bad day?" Yes or no?
Not anymore.
Yes, not anymore.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, it
I'll give you
was.
one similar. Our friend Sean Penner, who I co-host a Friday night event. Every Friday night we do 9 o'clock briefing about what happened in Ukraine. Sean was captured with 36 Marines in April 2022, and he was released on September 22nd, 2022. Now, September 22nd was always in my world the day my dad died, and my dad was a saint in my life. So it was always a very sad day. Oh, it's that day again. It's that day again. But I know, besides the Westerners, including him, I know at least 15 defenders that were released in that release. There was 200, by the way, but I know 15 of them. And my friend Natalie, who used to run the Women of Steel organization, her husband was released on September 22nd. I don't think of September 22nd the same way anymore. I don't have it as a memory of the day my dad died. I have a day as a liberation day forever. It will never be the other day ever, ever again. It will always be the day my friends came home from captivity, and a reminder, including my friend uh, Maxime, who was seen in video often. He was seen in video eating an apple, and everyone sees him and this like he was so emaciated from prison. He comes home and he eats an apple, and he kind of has this look on him in the video and
I
photo. And
saw this video.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And so, but that's the day he was released. So that's what I'm saying. Similar, like you said, September 13th will always have that day. That same thing with September 22nd for me is that's when my brother Sean came home. That's when my brother Aiden Aslan came home. That's when Alex Druke and Brahim and these guys were released. And so that's what it means. Hey, then we'll take it. And more, may there be more days. Remember, I remember so many releases now because days that now people who were my friends came home.
Mm-hmm.
and also friends who got their husbands and their fathers and their sons to return. So I could say, sure. When was our tour in Vladislavia released? Oh, that was August 14th. How do you remember? Well, because it's the most important day. When was Beach released? Oh, well, August 24th. Well, I mean, aside from Independence Day, it's the day he was released, and so yeah, it has that meaning that becomes a different, profound feeling for not not just those of us, but also for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have the question there,
Yes.
and I think we need to answer. It's really important, and thank you for this question. Please
Mila.
answer yes if you know about possibility to get letters in Russian prison. Because right, yes, when I was in prison, I received a lot of of
Hmm.
letters
Okay.
from the other countries. Uh, could you please tell me, are you living in Ukraine or no?
She's in Estonia right now.
She's Estonia. Um, yeah, you can send the letters and you can put in convert um,
Translate.
thing.
Translate. Перекладать.
Yeah, with your message, you can send one more paper and marks to send uh, to help the people who now in prison to answer to your letter. Yes,
Right.
and I
Hey, let's
found.
do this. I have an idea. Both of us and Mila's page, both of us can write a like an article type of thing. Like, here's how you can reach, and here's the method by which it
Mhm.
works. Let's do that.
Mhm.
And so that way they'll see it. If they forget tonight, they'll say, "Oh, well, let me go and I'll find that post. How you can message to the prisoners in Russian captivity."
Yes, but very important that
Sure.
you must um, make this message in Russian language, just because every letter is going through the censorship, and of course you need to understand what are you writing in this letter. You can
Sure.
speak about Ukrainian-Russian war, and you can speak about the process of criminal process, because
Hmm.
you can do badly to this person,
Right.
and that's I think that's it. Just yes, be kind, be gentle, yes, and
Yeah.
be warm in this letter. And I'm sure the people who receive this letter will be so grateful
Absolutely.
and thankful for that.
And like I said, I think that Mila also, I know she'll remind me, she's good like that. Uh, if we write a good how to and the best ways and put it on our Substack, these new friends that are following us will be able to use that information and not only do it, but pass it on to our allies who can help, who might not be here tonight. So I think that that's a very important thing for us to do. I'd be glad to do it.
Yeah,
This
thank you.
this is this is what I wake
So,
up to find a way to do every day. Like people say, how do you get through it? Like, man, I put everyone else first. That's why. Like you said, for my day of stress, like, yeah, right now there's someone who's got a lot more burden, and I have to do what I can to help them get family home, and also, and let me bring this to you, is to make sure you have the resources you need to get your life where you deserve to be, because it's not easy to just come home, right? Wasn't it
mhm.
hard when you came home to just go back to normal when the war's still going on?
I'm not the typical situation.
Fair.
Understand why? Because a lot of people who now in prison have children and
Hmm.
families, and it's complicated to live with understanding that you don't understand what's going on with your children. And I know a lot of situation when Russians put your children in sail nearby you, and
Ooh.
yes, and you doing everything what they want. You can do everything. Just imagine, just because this is your child.
Mm-hmm.
And the same situation when you're returning, you need to do what you need to think how you need to return to normal life, and how
Right.
to mm, uh, no, oh my god,
How to
uh,
recover?
recover your
Yeah.
children, to be with your children. I'm young. I'm physically I was rehabilitated very fast. I returned to normal life. Psychologically, just because I lived very long time in cell alone,
Mm.
I was so hungry. I was starving to speak with people, and I remember that first time I called my closest ones every 5 minutes to speak with me. I can't imagine that this is not a dream. I'm
Sure.
I am really free, and I can speak with everybody, with my closest ones,
Right.
with the people in the shop when you are buying the bread. You can speak, you can use your tongue, and
Yeah.
yes, and it was so crazy because I remember that I monthly everything that I said nearby the day, it's my name and my date of birth, and that's it.
Ah.
Monthly, yes. And so yes, but anything. The world is rushing, and after you have been in prison so many times, you don't understand what's going on, and you need to take time for yourself to be with your closest ones,
Right.
to be in calm. For I want to say thank you to my friends and my brother, first of all, who fought for me all this time. My friends who helped me to return to normal life.
Look who's here.
Oh, Aziza, hi.
Aziza. Aziza's too. Dobry wieczór, moja podruga. She'll be here. She's our guest on Friday night. So we have Crimea as often as we can have Crimea. We could actually, by the way, we might be able to add her to join in if she wants to. I can push a co-host button. You
Oh,
want to
if
try?
it possible,
Yeah,
I
let's
will
try.
be
Hold on,
really
let's try.
glad.
Let's try. Let's try this. Hold on. I'm gonna do it because we're gonna try it. Let's see. Hold on.
If she ready, of course.
Yeah. Well, she's our guest soon as well. Let's see. Hold on. It's coming. Give me a second. My phone doesn't like my spell check. Eventually, it'll learn. There it
uh,
is. Let's see. Invite. Maybe she also can join. Let's see. I don't know. It might take
no,
three. We're gonna try. Not
she
available.
texting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
she's
Friday,
not
she's our guest.
ready.
She's our guest on Friday, so she'll be here. Everyone, come back on Friday. We're not done. She was on my friend Rick the Ukrainian Yarek, his space. I'm a big fan of Yarek and Rick the Ukrainian, who does a great YouTube live stream at the Defender rallies every Sunday. And then he does throughout the week. He does fundraising, but he's just such a great guy. And he had Sean Penner and I on the other night, and then at the end, when we were ripping up, Aziza came in, and I was messages like, "Crimea, yeah, well, I know a lot of people who want to know more, so let's get over here and do this." So she'll be our guest in just 3 more days, Friday night. So yeah,
Yeah, I will be glad to see her.
yeah. And you know what? On this platform, you can host both of you can create a conduit. This is my mission. It's in Moya Maria. My mission is to see that more voices get like elevated here so that the Westerners have a bond. And then that way, instead of waiting for CNN to show up and ask questions and BBC or whoever else, then we can do that because I'm that crazy radical at the protests. I'm like the guy from Texas who's like, Slava Ukraini, Slava Nazis, Smell Ukraine, Pono to say, Ukraine, Pono to say. It's like, wow, he's
Putin.
like, what
Uh,
Putin, who
yes.
so the thing is what I one time at Easter a year ago, almost exactly right this time a year ago, I had a live video stream and I said, "Я не бачив CNN, я не бачив, BBC, диви, блядь." So it's like you're not here, you don't come to talk about it, you come when there's some other big story, and we need more of the news to feature commentary from people who know, more organic voices that are really in tune with what's going on. And I can tell you, you can see right here, we have 25 people already. I told you we started with like 10, now it's 25. They'll keep coming. More people will learn that it's on, and they'll come and they have good questions. They have good, they learn. I would say not to condescend to anyone, because forgive me if I sound this way. They learn better questions. The more they learn about what's happening, they learn better questions over time. Instead of saying what's happening later, it's like, hey, last time I learned this, I have more questions now. So that's part of the mission, is to build this bridge.
Yeah, is it interesting for you to see me here? Because I don't understand how it works, and should I spend time to know how it works here? Because
On
I don't
Substack.
understand. Yes, yes. It's
Well,
for
same
me. It's
here.
like
Like
new world.
3 months, I wasn't here on Substack 3 months ago, and one of my friends who was in news, and he's like the way I dress. He comes in, well, today what we have is this, and he's a guest, right? The news departments in America are so corporate now. They're really serving money. They're serving like power, and they're not really calling out Donald Trump or even really Putin. They have this like, oh, Putin's at Paralympics. Okay, we'll cover that, and they're really indifferent. So I, for 4 years, I did not get on camera. I used my camera to film others, like at empty chairs. You saw, I show up, I come and put three cameras down, I film, I put all the three cameras back, I go home and I edit. I don't stand in front and do commentary and all that stuff. I don't do that. It's not natural. And I think that I have to change that a little bit by saying, look, I've learned something in 4 years. So now I have a responsibility. And what I found is when I started airing on, especially what I do is Monday through Friday, I do this kind of back and forth. And then on Saturday, I use my software programs to air the stuff I've filmed for 4 years. So they got to see Empty Chairs event last week during the 27th, after I did on 24th, I did the attacks all over the country I filmed. 2 days later, I did Defender stories all night for like 4 hours. And then on Friday was civilian stories. So I ran the entire Empty Chairs event, and and they stayed watching. Like we had 70 something viewers. When I finally had to finish, I'm like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I have to go to bed. Good night. See you tomorrow. And it's easier to do when I know there's a crowd who genuinely wants to learn about Ukrainian people. But for me, I'm gonna just put everyone aside. Everyone who's watching, like I have a side screen where I see the post. This is personal. I care about you. And I remember when you were talking to Mitro, and I didn't know you, so I didn't really know how to come up and just, hi, how are you? Because I
Yes.
understand we're strangers, at that point. And so sometimes it takes time. And there's a difference. Like if you look at my Instagram, you see there's a lot of photos about Ukrainians in my life and very important people in my life, that have been through unimaginable situations, and it's transformed me. I'm this many now. I was reborn 4 years ago when I got here in January 2022. I kind of don't care about life before that. All my life starts here, and I spent 3 of my 4 years here in at a Kherson home here in Kyiv, a displaced family that's my family and my new family. And I learned my life all over again in Ukrainian stuff, including the nuanced stories of tragedy and pain, and working together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about your stories, and I think we have a lot of stories of our imprisoned people.
We have
Yes.
another journalist who joined us, Yulia here at Kleshnik. She was my guest a couple of weeks ago. She's a journalist as well. So,
Nice to meet
see,
you. Yeah,
more Ukrainianness.
yeah, it's. I'm pushing myself to speak in English, but it's too complicated. At the middle of the night, sometimes my English is run away. I'm trying to return my English. It says no, don't
It's
go,
okay.
don't go, return,
Repetitia.
please. Yes.
Repetitia. Repetitia. I have a friend at the cafe that I'm thinking in English, and then I turn around to her, and she speaks very fast Ukrainian. Actually, she speaks mostly like Sergic, and I'm like, I kind of get it, but my brain is in the other mode for a minute. But if it's only in Ukrainian, there are times I can go in there and it's perfect because I'm only thinking in Ukrainian all morning, context, meaning I'm translating. I don't really necessarily think only in Ukrainian as a person, but if I'm only in reading Ukrainian things and I'm not talking to Westerners at all, it's a lot easier. But if I'm like listening to English and I'm reading in English and I'm thinking in English and then I go, huh, Shotze? And it's complicated at that point. So it's practice is the most important part. And yeah, it's really I think it's important for both of us in the sense that the more this crowd builds its supply with you of resource and support and kindness and following her account. Let's do that. Make sure everyone's
If you want,
following her
thank you, but
account.
I'm not promised that I will do something there. But I hope I will. Yes, I want to share more stories with people
Yeah,
who I met, and I have one more stories. I'm not
sure.
sure that I want to share now or maybe next time. What do you
It's up
think?
to you.
Now?
It's up to you. Either way.
Uh,
And you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. I want lots of next time conversation because what my other mission is that we have more of a common conversation instead of like one big thing and then when's the last time we heard anyone? Months later. Like I don't like that part. I,
yeah.
I want
Okay.
I want to hear like what's going on now. I want to talk about like Zla Mavka and groups that we know are doing things. And I
Oh,
watch Atesh.
absolutely.
Oh, Molodets Zla Mavka. And Atesh and these groups that are really keeping us really informed. I read them every day. I write about the partisan warfare and efforts. So we have to really like work on that together and make sure that the outlet is there.
Yes, every time, when I open the news, my some channels, and I starting to read that Atesh take responsibility for something in Crimea. Is oh my god,
Yeah,
they're so cute, and they're so good. Yes, it's I'm honored of all of these people. Yes, and of
yeah.
course, Lamavka. They make not. War things, but it's very important thing that they show how they're conversating with Russians.
Still here. I like the messages all the time. Still here.
Yeah.
Little bits of resistance go a long way because it shows that the Russians can't just make it a Russian resort.
Yes. Maybe next time, just remind
Sure.
me how I met the prisoner of war in Lefortovo.
Yeah, pamiętam.
Yes, and I will share because it's very interesting story and it's a little bit funny and a little bit sad. But yes, we have a yellow ribbon, a very cool guys who texting like small messages like Crimea is Ukraine, like Yevpatoria is Ukraine, make photo and sending to Ukraine. And every time
Right,
when I see these photos, for me, it's warm inside. I feel the warm inside that the regular person just texting, make a video, make a photo, and sending. That
right.
small things, but so warm. Yes.
And I like Roman is our good friend, our Ukrainian brother, and he's in Europe. Say, Buddha Ukraina. Сказав правду, bro.
100%. Все буде Україна.
So, you ready to get some rest?
Yes, I think.
The puppy fell asleep.
Yes. I, yeah.
That's how it's gonna be. She finally got her energy out, and it's time to get some rest. I want to say again, I know our friends will welcome you 1,000 times over, and I'm always here in Kyiv. Я живу тут 4 роки зараз, и Україна мій дім, и я вдома. I have people say, when are you going home? Oh, right now, Poznaki, that's big.
Oh, you're living nearby me, actually.
Yeah, I'm actually like near in between Osakoki and Poznaki Metro. So,
I'm nearby the Slovutich. Yeah.
it's right, not too far. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So very close. And I'll say this again to our friends, please follow her account because we're going to definitely, I think we'll give you reasons to be posting information here. Also, I put up the video in the article I wrote about you today. I had worked on the article last few days, but I kind of did more of it today and I said, you know what? I want to post the video from Empty Chairs, and we can make more of them later, but post that video with the translation of your commentary and then the story, much like what we talked about tonight, so that our friends can learn. And then when we're done, things we talked about tonight, I will also transcribe the transcription or pull out the transcription and go through and say, okay, here's more information. And we put Zoe Malrazum.
Of
And
course.
and I'm very, very thankful for you. Always. I'll be here for you.
Thank
Okay?
you for your work. Yes, for your warm heart.
That's the easy part. That's the
Yeah.
easy part.
And thank you everyone for being with us and yes, share this time with us. Thank you. Have a good night. Have a good evening.
Na добраніч. Тихо небо. I hope we have
На
quiet
добраніч.
skies. We'll
And
see. Yeah,
can I learn you how to say it in Crimean Tatar language?
I would love to.
Yes. Yes. Hayırlı gece.
Hayırlı
Yes, hayırlı gece. It means на добраніч, good night.
hmm Can you send that to me in text? And also, because one of the things I like to do is combine my ability to read and to learn. And also, we'll talk about this later, but I play Barabon, but more like style that Crimeans play. So I want to go see like my friend Shivket, who plays over at Mustafa, and I want to get more of that culture to our people later. So you'll have to, help me bridge some of that. Ah, so now that we see it written, say this again when we hear it. Now that we see it.
But actually, it's Turkish pronounce.
Yeah. I see that. Yeah.
It's in the second language, in the second word, it's C. It's written like J.
J. Gece.
Gece. Yes.
Hayırlı gece.
You're almost Crimean Tatar.
Well, so I would tell all my friends, like I say before, the way to learn the language is two things: need. Mama, yeah, mama, yeah, хочу seek mama. Like little things like that. But the other part is practice and just listen, patience that you won't do it very good
100%.
at first time, and then it'll come, it'll happen. So I appreciate you, and I wish you all the best, and we have your back. See you
Thank you.
soon. Those
Good
are just
night.
skoro. Not the
До
brother chamber.
зустрічі.
So to everyone else, same thing. I'm gonna go to sleep too because there's a lot to do, and tomorrow no program. I don't think so. Maybe we'll see. I spontaneously decide to do a program sometimes. An interview I was going to do today is postponed till tomorrow because my friend was in the hospital. So, but on Thursday, day after tomorrow, we're going to have Capitol Police Officer Daniel Hodges, and I'll leave it what he said. We're going to have crockpot recipes exchanged and talk about the latest episode of Love is Blind. And Andriy Burko has just joined us, so this will be in recording for Andriy. I'm asking all of my wonderful friends, like really the best way to show that you appreciate it tonight is to follow our dear sister's account. Go to her account, follow, and don't forget on Friday night, one of our friends who's currently with us in this space, Aziza, will be our guest. Friday night, we have Sean Penner in the early part, and then we'll go for about an hour something. And then at 11 p.m. our time, do the math, whatever that is, 5 o'clock, we will have our second show with Aziza to talk about more Crimean things. And you get to see her art. We're working on exactly what to do. So, дякую, будь ласка. For those who don't know these words, дякую, дякую, дякуємо, we thank you, I thank you. І будь ласка, which is basically you're welcome. It's also please. Дайте будь ласка, американо, без молока. Дякую, будь ласка. На добраніч. І слава Україні, героям слава, і пиздець Російської Федерації, і Путін хуйло.